But the greater light of the soul is always in the heavenly kingdom and never leaves the nucleus. And that light is always in an association, always being taught, always being dressed. And whatever happening and whatever's being taught here is that this is the way of the servants of malakut, of the heavenly kingdom. These are not the schools of the dunya and the world of form. So they're teaching you from the heavenly kingdom. There's an association that's continuous as the souls don't sleep and the oceans of eternity. And in that kingdom they sit according to the ranks in which Allah has dressed them, their arwah. And those whom are in tariqas, at least now they have a greater understanding that their souls are always in the association of the shaykhs and in the association of their shaykh.
As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Shaykh Nurjan. Thank you for watching the video that you're watching. Inshallah, if you're happy with the content and happy with these programs, please support the button below, the programs that we have for our orphanage repairs, our water well, Give the Gift of Life, our mobile food vans. We have now 5 vans: Vancouver, Chicago, Los Angeles, Pakistan. There's many programs that reach thousands of people and rescue foods and give those supplies to people in need. Your support is greatly appreciated. Also, be so kind as to leave loving comments and please share the stream. Every bit counts. As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Continuously teaching them, continuously conveying lights and realities. And whole life's understanding is that that soul and the greater soul, the greater reality is one soul but a drop comes to this earth. So they call it higher consciousness and lower consciousness. We can call it the perfected soul and the drop of the soul in the body, doesn't matter what people want to call it. Means that the purpose of life is that that greater reality has been taught all these knowledges and its whole purpose is to communicate with the light Allah threw into your body. So then who's the video game? Why we're so attracted to video games? Because I've said in every technology there's a haqqaiq from Allah. We like to hold the console or the controller, and we like to feel that we're in charge. And we get an avatar and we like to even dress him like how we want it to be dressed. We'll put a beard, a turban and knights and swords, and we move the avatar, that which you're made to represent yourself, and you engage it in everything. But its haqqaiq is that we are the avatar and the greater soul is playing us on this earth. And Allah, was there ever a time you were something not remembered? Means you're continuously connected. So in perfection that soul learns. The greater soul is always in an association from the nucleus, from the power. It can't be devoid of power, otherwise where are you getting your power? So it's continuously learning. Its purpose in perfection, then we can see how far we are off of perfection, was that we were supposed to land on this earth in this vehicle we call a body. And Allah took from that light, threw it into that body. And we were supposed to find out, what are my coordinates? So He's playing the game up there, go left, go right, pray. Then again do this, pray. And it was supposed to be under the command of the greater consciousness that's connected to the Divine. And in the way that Allah wanted it is that we should have been listening to the inspiration of our greater reality. like astronauts on Mars and they're taking telecommunication from NASA and say, yes we heard. Because shaitan also likes to imitate like very far distances and they can communicate. They can't communicate from one state to another state without interference and interruption. But in the heavenly kingdom, the greater soul, the greater reality is continuously trying to inspire, go left, because it sees Lahul Mahfuz. The greater soul sees what Allah has written, says that Allah has written for us, today you're supposed to go here, today you're supposed to pray this, today you're supposed to, and it was all based on ibadah. And had we listened in perfection, samina wa ata'na, left, right, left, right, left, right, all the rizq and all the blessings would have flown upon the avatar on earth, what we call insan. Because Allah's rida and satisfaction would have been upon that servant. The one whom listens to their soul, listens to Allah, that becomes ati'ullah, ati'a Rasul, wa ulul amri minkum. Because they're in the associations of Allah's Divinely power under the authority of Sayyidina Muhammad. So every isharat, every guidance, every light, every reality is coming, and our job was to be a good avatar and play, listen. And that's why our way is what? Samina wa ata'na. We heard, what did you hear? You were supposed to hear your greater reality, and we obey. And this was the game, that we were the avatar and my soul in heaven was the one controlling. And sits in the association, learns a reality, sends a signal down, go to left, now do this and now do that. Then Allah introduced shaitan that go after that avatar on earth. And shaitan's role is to confuse our signal. So every time we want to hear our greater reality, shaitan's make you busy, make you confused, make you every type of distraction until you're not going left and you're not going right. And there was a time where there was no TV and there was no telephone and there was no internet, and you would sit and what would happen? You would hear yourself and your inspirations and good character, and you would hear the outer people teaching you have good manners and be disciplined and give you outer coordinates, inner coordinates, and they were following Allah's way. And the system was designed to listen and to follow and obey the higher command. As a result of insan being distracted by the immense amount of negative energy, they no longer sit to listen. They're continuously busy. They have to look at everything, they have to hear everything, they have to be distracted on their phones, they have to be continuously bombarded. For what purpose? If they don't understand the reality, they don't understand why the shaykh is talking about being bombarded, because you were supposed to be able to hear your soul. Not the one inside you confused with dirtiness, but the greater reality that is purified and perfected. When Allah describes, although they wish to extinguish the light, they can never extinguish it because it's not in yours to extinguish. The light is always with Allah. He didn't give it to us, did not entrust it to us because we didn't reach our ahad in our covenant. That was the concept of the bayat. When Allah wants a servant to reach their real light, He guides them to their bayat and their initiation. Why? So that they can complete their covenant with Allah. Otherwise it wasn't holding hands, it was about the covenant that Allah is connect the servant back to their reality. And the shaykh is holding his two hands, holding one to the reality and one to the servant, and then disciplines and trains them, come back to your coordinates. He's a facilitator of mulk and malakut. Because your hand not reaching, you understand it's not reaching, the reality of the shaykh is to hold the hand in the reality because they exist with that, we'll get to how that happened. and as a result hold the hand on earth. And that's why Allah says, Allah's hand is upon their hands. He's going to facilitate the connection because they disconnected from their reality. So in electronics and when you have an electrician comes, they make like a cable to connect two conditions until they can bring the wires safely together. They're going to jump from one side, jump to this side, make the connection so the flow of energy is coming, but the job is to connect the cable. So the one whom has been connected, seclusions, disciplines, and through their guidance, nobody ever connected alone. So they don't have shaykhs, they're not in zikr, they're not connected. There can be imaginal and illusionary connection. There's no way they're going to reach into the heavens, and there's no way they're going to fight the shaitans whom are blocking their storm. Say, if I can't get satellite I'm going to make it happen. No, you're not going to make it happen because when the storm comes you have no satellite. So the concept that Allah gives to the shaykhs is, no, they're going to come, and as a result of their madad and their support that Allah is supporting upon them, shaitan runs from you in their presence. If you're physically in their presence, shaitan is running, waiting outside to block your connection again. As soon as the association starts, again shaitan runs and the connection's there. As soon as you make your madad and learn how to make your tafakkur and your contemplation, what happens? The energy comes like a portal and pushes shaitan away, so that 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes of meditation, again facilitating the connection. And when they feel that you're experienced enough, what happened? They go in for seclusions. 40 days they're in that training of connected, and they're connected and they're connected, and they do all their awrads, all their wazifas. Why? Because the whole time of the seclusion was to connect until they're so connected that Allah sends the greater soul into the body. That now this one is trustworthy, this one is in the ocean of taslim, a greater portion of their light can continuously enter into their reality. And we said before in the training, they don't need to bring all of that all the time walking around. So then they're trained on turning on and off their binary reality. When it's necessary in their associations, they know how to turn their energy on, and the greater soul is now coming to them and operating from their soul's reality. Means that their soul is encompassing them and bringing soul's knowledges, bringing the soul's power, not the body and not the lesser soul, but the greater soul and the higher consciousness. And that's why they teach from a higher consciousness. They're teaching from paradise and paradise energies and paradise realities. And as a result, as soon as they come into that association, that greater soul is moving throughout the association, through the videos, through everything. Wherever people are, you're dealing with a servant whom brings their soul's power and teaches by their soul and all their realities. And then Allah described them in Hadith al-Qudsi that they did their fard, they approached through voluntary worshipness. This person I hear through his ears, I see through his eyes, I talk through his breath, I breathe through his qudrah, I'm the hands in which he touches, the feet in which he moves. And this is Hadith al-Qudsi, so these people online can't say this is not true. It's 100% true that it's second to Qur'an in its caliber and its importance. That Allah describing those servants whom operate from the greater soul. They have Allah's hearing, not ears, Allah's hearing as an eternal gift, Allah's seeing, Allah's breath, Allah's tongue upon their tongue. And all this dress what we call Muhammadiyun, because Allah dresses the soul of Prophet and Prophet dresses the ulul amr. And as a result they operate from the greater soul, not the smaller light, the greater light. So our life was to listen to the greater consciousness,